we're going to start the heredity and evolution chapter. Okay, so just give me a second. So let's start. So if I ask you that what is heredity, the heredity is the transmissions of character from parents to offspring. So what we're going to study in this chapter is the transmissions of character from parents to offspring. Okay, and what are the changes and the study about it, and what are the factors that are responsible for the transmissions of character. So we're going to study in this one. Okay, so heredity and evolution has been removed, so we're going to study only heredity in this chapter. Evolution has means this is not in our syllabus this way this time, so we're going to study only heredity. So what is heredity? Heredity is actually the transmissions of characters. Heredity is transmission. Everybody please turn on your camera. Transmission of character from parents to offspring. Okay, got it? Means if there are some character that are being transferred from one generation to another generation, we call it heredity. So what is heredity? Heredity is transmissions of character from parents to. Shiv, Abhi, Tejasvi, please turn on your camera. Everyone, please turn on your camera. Let me turn on the focus mode. Yes, now you please turn on your camera. Turn it on first. Shiv, Tejasvi, Abir, are you there in the class? Shweta, turn on your camera. So let's start. So what is heredity? Heredity is transmissions of character from parents to offspring. So if something we are getting from our parents, that we called it heredity. Okay. So for example, if I'm saying that if you are getting the color of your eyes, color of your hairs, skin, okay, the structure, body design, the nose, the eyes, the ears that are attached like this. Okay. So if I'm simply saying that if you are getting something from your parents, so we called it heredity. Transmissions of character from parents to offspring is called heredity. Okay. Next is genetic. What is genetic? Genetic is a branch of science that deals. What is genetics? Genetics, we can simply say that it is the branch of science that deals with the study of. It is the branch of science that deals with the study of of heredity and variation. Heredity and heredity and variation. So if something is being transferred from one generation to another generation, okay, and means which we call it heredity, and the variation means the changes that we see among the individuals. For example, someone are having blue eyes, someone are having brown eyes, someone are having fair color, some are having, so they are different. We can simply say here that this is called, I mean, the changes among the individual that you see, we called it variation. So what is variation? We can simply say that variation is the changes that we see among the individuals. Okay, like the two individuals are always having changes, so we called it variation. So what is variation? What is variation? Tell me.
The differences in the parents and offspring due to an error in DNA copying is variation.
Yeah, you can say that because the DNA is not copied properly, so the exact copy is not there because of the biochemical reactions are not exactly same. So we called it variations. And in simple language, if we call what is variation, so we can say that the differences among the individual, the differences, the differences among the individuals that make them make them that make them different from each other. Okay, so we called it variations. Okay, what we called it? We called it variations. Understood? Got it? So we that for example, I'm just repeating this one. So there can be different types of variations. One is the somatic variation, another one is the germinal variations. Okay, there can be different types of variations. The first type of variation is the somatic variations, and the variations can be of two types. One is the somatic variation, and the second one is germinal variation. Germinal variations. Okay, germinal variations. Okay. So if I talked about that, what is somatic variations and what is germinal variations? Somatic variations and germinal variations. So if I talk about what is somatic and what is germinal variation, so somatic variation is the one variation that occurs in the somatic cells of the cells. Okay, for example, if a person is getting means if he start doing weightlifting, then he start building the muscles. Okay, Shweb and Shweta, Shweb and Shweta,
Yes, sir.
please turn on your camera.
Mm.
Okay, so if I'm talking about this one is that somatic variations, the variation that occurs in the somatic cells of the organism. So variation due to somatic cells, changes in the somatic cells, change in the somatic cells. There are two types of cells in our body, somatic cells that are going to somatic cells are those cells that is going to have 46 chromosomes. Okay, so if this variation, because these somatic cells do not participate in the cells, so we call them uh, we say that these are not transferable from one generation to another generation. And what is germinal variations? So we can simply say that germinal variations are the variations in which the variations occurs due to change in the DNA copying. Okay, and this we can say that it is transferred from one generation to another generations. Okay, for example, the two gametes from different parents are joining together, and male and female parents are joining together, and they're forming a zygote. So we will simply say here that these are the two gametes that are from different parents. So due to DNA copying, the changes occurs, and this type of change is called germinal variations. Okay, so we can say that variation due to due to change in gametes reproductive cells. Okay, variation due to change in reproductive cells. What we call them? We call them gametes. Okay, and it occurs due to why it occurs due to it occurs due to DNA copying. It occurs due to change in DNA copying. Change in DNA copying. DNA copying. Okay. So there are the two types of variation. One is somatic variation, and another one is germinal variations. Somatic variations is that variation that is not transferable from one generation to another generation. Given examples of variation that occurs. Given examples of somatic variations. Just give me an example of somatic variations. Yes, Abir. Give me an example of somatic variation.
Sir, bodybuilding or artificially coloring your hair?
Yeah, you can say. Okay, bodybuilding, or you can say that the persons who start living from the person who belongs to the plain areas. Okay, and they move to the hilly areas where the oxygen level is low. So the people who are living in the plain areas and the people who are living in those areas uh, which are at higher altitude, so the due to the oxygen level is less there. Okay, due to oxygen level is less there, they are going to have broader and larger lungs as comparison to those are living in the plain areas. So if a person start living there for 1 or 2 or 3 years, so their lungs get bigger in size as comparison to those they were living in the plain areas. Okay, because of the lower altitude, less amount of oxygen, and they are going to have more number of RBCs also, red blood cells, because they are just transferring the oxygen. So these are the main. Okay, you understood? Understood? So we can say that variation due to change in the somatic cells, we called it, they are going to have 46 chromosomes, and how many gametes are going to have? Only 23 chromosomes. Okay, so variation due to germinal, the reproductive cell that participate in the process of reproduction. So because the lung cells do not participate in the process of reproduction, so it does not mean a person who is living in the higher altitudes will have the kids always with the broader lungs. No, they are just these are the changes that he is not acquiring from his parents. These are the changes that he is required after the birth. Okay, so we call this somatic variations. Okay, understood? Understood, everybody in the class?
Yes.
Shweta, you understood? Shweb, you understood? Understood? Should I move forward? Okay. The next one is, if I talked about the next one is the two types of traits. What are traits? Traits are the changes that we see among the individuals. We call them traits. For example, if we compare with the height, so height, if I'm saying that height is a character, so they are the two traits in the heights. One is the dwarf and one is tall. Okay, so they are the two traits. So traits, we can simply say that traits are the changes that we see, or the change, or the factor, or the difference that we see among the individuals. We called it trait. Okay, for example, a tall boy, a short boy, a dwarf boy. So dwarfness and the tallness are the two traits. Got it? Are you getting my points? The traits are those things that we see. This is similar to the variation also. You can say variations, same. So if I talk about the traits, traits are also two types. Traits are also of two types. One is the inherited traits. Traits are also of two types. One is the inherited traits, and another one is the one is the inherited traits. Another one is the acquired traits. Acquired traits. Okay. So if I talked about that inherited traits and acquired traits. Okay. So acquired traits are those traits that are acquired by an individuals during means, or we can say that after the childbirth, after they get birth, those changes that are being transferred, or we can say that those changes that a person is going to acquire, we call them acquired traits. And inherited traits are those traits that are, what are inherited traits? Inherited traits are those traits that are inherited from our parents, that are transferable from one generation to another generation. Okay, so what are inherited traits? The traits that a person, or the changes the person, or the change that a person acquired from their parents. Okay, so we call them inherited traits. So we can say here that the change, or the traits that are present, that a person that a person get from their parents, and they are present since childbirth. Got it? And acquired traits, those traits those traits that are after those traits that are gained by a person after his birth. We called it acquired traits. For example, for example, loss of body part in an accident. In an accident. Comma, experience gained during lifetime. During lifetime. Here is what are inherited traits? Color of skin, eyes, hair, morphology, etc. Note it down. Where is Abir? Done?
Yes, sir, done.
Okay. So, do we which type of trait we are going to study in heredity? Which type of trait do we are going to study in heredity? In heredity,
Inherited trait.
yes, acquired or inherited traits. Which type of trait do we study in heredity? Tell me.
Inherit.
Yes, inherited traits. The inherited traits. Why? Because heredity means transmissions of character from parents to offspring. And since only the inherited traits are transferable from one generation to another generation, so we'll say that inherited traits are studied in okay, these are studied. So we'll say that these are acquired traits are not transferable, are not transferable, transferable from one generation to another. Okay, but inherited trait are transferable from one generation to another. Note it down. Done. Okay.
Noted, sir.
So they are not transferable. Okay. Now, if I ask you a simple question here, is that variation is also means variation are also two types, somatic and the germinal variations. The germinal variation is transferred from one generation to another generation. Means if there is a change in the gametes, DNA is taking place, then it is transferred from one generation to another generation. So if a person, if I ask you a simple question, if a person cut the tails of a rat, cut the tail of a rat, then for 5 to 6 times, for 5 to 6 generation means one generation get okay cut means it is mean the rat are being cut with their tails. That's then the next generation comes, it is also going to have the tails, then he again cut the tails. So do you think that if he keep on cutting the tails up to 20 to 20 generation or 25 generation, will the structure of the tail, or we can say the will the mouse start getting smaller tails, or will the tail will vanish if you start cutting the keep on means if you start cutting the tails of the rats. If one rat get birth, you cut the tail again. This rat get bigger in size and it give the birth to the next one. Then again, that rats are going to cut their tails. So, do you think that if after the 20th generation, the tails of the rat will vanish or will be smaller in size as comparison to other?
Yes, because variation leads to evolution.
No, this type of variation is not giving you the variation that are done due to DNA copying or change in the germinal cells. Okay, for example, if I'm going to give you the examples of beetles, okay, uh, for example, for every trait there is a that you're going to study when we'll study the Mendel experiment monodihybrid cross. That for every trait there is a separate gene. For example, if you are going to have your color of eyes are blue or brown, other person or your brother or sister is going to have the color of eyes is blue or some other color. So this is due to the means the color of brown hair, the color of eyes, for the color of means if I talk about the skin, okay, the design of nose, the for everything we are going to have different and separate gene. We are going to have separate gene. Okay, so for that, we are going to have separate gene. For everything, we are going to have the separate gene. And if I talk about if I just keep on cutting the tails of the, so what we are doing the change, we are doing the change in the somatic cells that are not participating in the process of reproduction. So just let me talk that which type of variation lead to the evolution. For example, if there is a red beetles, this is red beetle. Let I'm just making it like this way. Okay, this is a red beetle and it is going to have, this is red in color. Okay, this is red in color, and for red color of this one there should be a gene, there should be a gene. Okay, gene is a functional unit of heredity. Okay, means the information is carried in DNA but it is coded in the form of gene. Okay, means gene is important. So for example, this strand of DNA is for the red color, means it gives the red color, and this there is a coding for the red color of this one. Okay, but due to DNA copying or some error in DNA, okay, this gene this gene has some changes and it gives blue color, sorry, it gives green color, and due to that a green color beetles comes. Okay, we have a green color beetles. Okay, now again when this green color beetle uh, reproduce further, it may give birth to let it is going to give the birth to one green color beetle and another red color beetles, another red color. Okay, another red color beetles. Now this when it is going to give birth, now it is giving birth to the three red color beetles and two green color beetles, two green color. So two green color beetles. Okay, now since the red color is not giving the advantage for the, or not giving the any benefit for the survival. Okay, red color can be easily visible to the crow and crow can easily eat this one. Okay, but the green color beetle here, the green color beetle is going to get the advantage, camouflage advantage we called it, camouflage advantage. Okay, so this camouflage advantage is given to the green color beetle. Are you getting my point? This green color beetles are can easily hide themselves in the trees or the plants or the leaves, and we can simply say here that they are getting the camouflage advantage, but these are not. So simply we will say that it just keep on giving birth So this green color dominance start dominating, and we will see that these red colors will slowly will get vanish. Okay, you understood? Understood? But
Yes, sir.
this is change in the what? This is change in the DNA, because DNA copying in the germinal or gamete cells. Okay, but what we are doing, we are doing change in the somatic cells. We are cutting the tails of the rat, but we are not doing the change in the DNA of that is going to have the coding that rat is going to have the tail. Okay, are you getting my point? So whenever the gamete fuses, then the again have the coding for the red for the tail of the rat. So again, the red one will going to have the means new rat that is going to born. It is going to have tails. Okay, understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the way that how we simply say that the evolution occurs. So evolution occurs slowly. The changes that are suitable to the environment, that are favorable to the environment, that change keep on growing. Okay, got it?
Yes, sir.
Now moving further, so you understood that what are acquired traits, what are inherited traits, and which traits are transferable and which are not. So if you cut the tail of the rat, it means that we are doing the changes in the somatic cells, not in the germinal cells. So these are not transferable. For example, if a person start learning a language, so these are stored in the brain cells. Okay, the brain cells have the coding for that one. So if a newborn baby is going there to birth there, so it is not, he or she is not going to get the language. Okay, of that one. So anything that any experience a person become a doctor does not means his kids are going to be doctor, because these are the acquired traits. Okay, they are not transferred from the one generation to another generation. Have you understood? Tejasvi, Shweb, and
Yes, sir.
Shweta, you
Yes,
understand?
sir.
Okay, now moving to the next part here is,
Yes.
let's move further. Now, what is gene? Gene is a functional unit of DNA, or we can say that it is the functional unit of DNA, that code for a protein. As I want to say that, you know that whatever the cell is going to perform its function, it is stored in DNA in terms of gene, or it is stored in DNA. Are you familiar that whatever a cell is going to perform its functions, it is stored in the nucleus, and nucleus in the form of DNA? Hmm, DNA. So if I talk about that, what is gene? So gene is a functional unit of DNA. Okay. So note it down. What is gene? Gene is a functional unit of is the functional unit of heredity. Huh? Functional gene is the functional unit of heredity. Heredity. Okay. Present in chromosomes, that are presence in chromosome. Okay. Of cell nucleus. It is composed of DNA and code for it as it is composed of DNA and code for and one gene code for one nucleotide or one type of protein. Okay, and code for one generation or one type of protein. This is what we called it, polynucleotide. Nucleotide. Polynucleotides. So gene is a functional unit of heredity, okay? That is responsible for transmissions of that. So let me explain you that what is gene in more detail. Let me show the video if it is possible. So wait a minute. If it is possible. So you must know that what is gene. Gene and so here, what we are talking about that genes are going to have a special coding, okay, and that coding helps the DNA to order the ribosome to provide the specific proteins, and proteins in cells are generally made up of proteins, and different cells perform different types of functions. So if the gene is not there, then the specific type of protein will not be produced, and then a specific type of protein will not be produced, then a specific type of cell will not be produced, and a specific type of cell is not produced, then the specific type of functions will not be occurs. So we will say that if there is no neurons, because if there is no gene in the okay, if there is no gene for making the protein that can produce the neurons. So, okay, so what is gene? Gene is a functional unit of heredity present in chromosomes. Chromosomes, what are chromosomes? Chromosomes are condensed form of DNA. DNA are scattered in the nucleus. DNA are scattered. Okay. DNA are scattered in the nucleus, but during the time of division, okay, these DNA get scattered. Okay. These DNA get scattered and form a chromosome. What they form? A chromosome. Chromosomes look like this, X-like structures. Okay, so the scattered DNA get condensed and they form. So what is DNA? DNA is a chromosomes. Chromosomes are the condensed forms of DNA. Okay, so chromosomes are condensed form of DNA. You understood? The gene is a functional unit of heredity present in chromosomes of cell nucleus, and it composed of DNA and code for one type of protein. We call for different type of protein, we have different types of gene. Okay. For example, for your eyes, for the color of your skin, for means even for the design of the hair, that that we all organism will start our life from a single cell zygote. The zygote is going to start doing functions, and at the specific type, they start secreting different types of protein, and different cells are emerged from the single cells. So what we called it? We called it simply chromosomes. Okay, understood? Sorry, gene. We called it gene. Now you understood? Is there any doubt regarding to this topic?
No, sir.
Now, moving to the next part is what is new. Now you have studied that what is variation. Variation is slow and gradual changes that occurs that result in the variation among the individuals, and that generally occurs due to DNA copying. Okay, but if there is a change that is occurring, sudden and spontaneous change that is occurring due to natural environmental factors, okay, or some artificial means. For example, due to radiations, the DNA is being changed, okay, or for example, due to UV rays, or from for some if you are just using tobacco, if you are not eating good food, so it may result, or it may alter the change, or change of DNA. Okay, it may result in the change in DNA. So due to that change, or due to that alteration in our food, the radiations that we are getting. Okay, so there are some environmental factor, or we can say that there's some artificial factors or some natural means which can result in the change in DNA, and due to that we see spontaneous and sudden change. Okay, so we called it mutation. Like cancer is a mutation. What is cancer? Is a mutation that results in the change in the DNA in the somatic cells and results in different functions of the cell. So we called it mutations. Understood? What is mutation? So note it down. What is mutation? Mutation, we can say that genetic variations in organism, genetic variations, variation in organisms also occurs due to natural and artificial due to natural and artificial changes in the molecular structure of DNA, in the molecular structure of DNA. Okay, in the molecular structure of DNA, it is called mutation. It is called mutation. Okay, got it? Shweta, Shweb, Tejasvi, got it?
Yes,
Abir?
sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
simple. We say
Yes.
that variation is slow and gradual change, but this is a spontaneous change. So if I write 1 or 2 points in between this one, the mutation and variation. So we can simply say that mutation is sudden change in DNA, sudden change in DNA. This is slow and gradual change. Slow, it take very long years. Okay, slow and gradual change. Okay, it results in alteration in body design, means spontaneous change आ जाएगा. Sudden change in DNA, here slow and gradual change is there. Okay, so here we can say that it is alteration, results in alteration in body design, in body design and improper functioning, but it also help in alteration in body design, but this is very slow, so it is not, means you cannot say that it is, for example, if a person is, we are just having a body design, that is we are going to have two hands, two eyes, one nose. Okay, so it does not mean if a person is getting three eyes due to variation, no. But alteration in mutation can result in change. For example, if a person gets 6 fingers, okay, that is a mutation. Okay, if a person is going to, means if they are two birth are, means two persons are born with their body design, they are joined together. Okay, some person we have that the faces are joined, so that is mutations. Okay, the mutation is simply, we can say that, means very slow, very slow change occurs. Okay, third one is mutation results to death, means it does not provide any survival advantage, do not provide survival advantage, but variation leaves, uh, yeah, it help in providing survival advantage. Okay, please note it down.
Done, sir.
Done? Sure. Okay. Now, you know that Mendel was the first one who was able to study this transformation of changes from one generation to another generations. Okay. Abir, are you there in the class? Shweta, Shweb, are you
Yes,
there?
sir.
Shweb, why are you not turning
Yes.
your camera on?
Yes, sir.
Are you? Turn your camera. So if I talk about that, what is uh Mendel was the first one, or we say GJ Mendel was the first one who was able to study, okay, these transformations of character from one generation to another generations, and he did this experiment you were using pea plants, okay, pea plants. So if I talk about that, what was it? First of all, the question comes that why do Mendel choose pea plant for his experiment? Okay, so first reason is that pea plants is going to have large number of traits can be observed in pea plants. Okay, we can say that pea plants are going to have round seeds. Okay, pea plants are going to have wrinkled seeds. Pea plants can have yellow seeds. They can have green seeds. The color of the pod is green and yellow. The height of the plant is short and dwarf. So there can be so many traits can be observed. Okay, pea plant bears large number of traits, means large number of variations. That's why he choose pea plant. Second is the lifespan of pea plant is very less. Okay, so it does not take much time to grow the whole new plant. So several stage generation, if you want to study one generation, two generation, three generations, so they can be studied in very short span of time. But if you are having a plant which is going to have, means it take years to get one plant and then again plants. Okay, so it will take much time. But pea plant does not have much lifespan, so we will say that it can easily bear seeds in short lifespan. So it we can simply say that it is going to have, means large number of variations, sorry, large number of generation or several generation can be studied in short span of time. The third reason why he choose is that pea plants or the flower of pea plant is bisexual in nature. So if he wants to do the self pollinations, he can do because bisexual flower is there, and it also bear large stamens. Okay, it is bisexual, but it also bears large stamens. Okay, so these stamen can easily be removed and cut. Okay, so and in order to do the cross pollination. So if someone wants to do the cross pollination, then these stamens can be easily removed or cut. Okay, and that transfer means we can transfer the new gametes over this one. Got it? Got it? So we can simply say here that moreover, the one and last reason is that pea plant bear large number of seeds. So it helps us to calculate the authentic calculations, means to get the authentic conclusion that that what type of ratio we are getting, that three plants are tall, one plant is dwarf. Okay, so this help us. Got it? Got it? So if I ask you that why do Mendel choose pea plant for his experiment? So you must know these points. So let me write these points. Mendel was known as the father of genetics. Mendel, G.J. Mendel was, yeah, is known as is known as father of genetics. Okay, father of genetics, and he was the first one to study the heredity. Okay, the transmission of characters. The question comes that why do Mendel choose pea plant for his experiment? Why do Mendel choose pea plant for his experiment? The reason is there's so many reasons. That pea plant bear large number of seed. Bear several generation can be studied EPM there, large number of seeds. Where? Wait a minute. We are not. Several generation is not. Wait a minute. Which help? Which help in getting authentic conclusion. The second is pre-plant. Pre-plant have so many traits like round seeds, wrinkled seeds, dwarf, tall, etc. More deeply. Third is pea plant have short lifespan. Short lifespan, which help in studying several generation in short period of time. Short period of time. Okay. Last one is pea plant bear bisexual flower. It bears bisexual flower, which help in cross pollination. Next is it help it have large stamen which can be easily cut and removed. Okay. So that's all for today. If you have written this one, you can leave. Okay. Got it.
Thank you, sir.
Done, Shweta? Noted?
Yes.
Shweta.